Soye Savoir, we love Today FM. Today FM rocks.
Today's hit music on Today FM.
In this bulletin, RABUKA should be in jail, says Prime Minister. Nationwide curfew in effect from Monday. And no new COVID-19 cases.
From the studios of FBC Suva.
Prime Minister Vorenge Bainimarama has today said opposition leader SITIVENI RABUKA should be in jail for his actions of the mutiny at the military camp in 2000. Bainimarama says RABUKA needs to think before attacking government each time and also directing attacks towards him as Prime Minister. He says RABUKA and the opposition MPs need to cut the crap.
The leader of the opposition attacked me in the last in his statement about the institution that supported me, supposedly. I have been taken to task, Honorable Speaker, by yourself. But he has not been taken to task for the events that transpired on the November 2nd up at the camp. He should be in jail right now. The Constitution, the institution, let him free.
Opposition leader SITIVENI RABUKA claims a fair share of the allocation from the COVID-19 response budget is not directly related to the pandemic response. RABUKA says while the government argues that people urgently need a supplementary budget, he believes it is a cover-up for the mismanagement of the economy.
After looking through the allocations that they have come up with, I believe too little, too late, and in the wrong areas. Perhaps a redistribution of the normal budget for the year, concentrating it on the areas needed the most rather than the areas we want to please, would be a great move for Fiji.
We need to put money. We need to put money in Fijians' pockets now. We need to extend a lifeline to Fijian businesses. We need to get our doctors and nurses more of the life-saving supplies they need to test for and treat this virus.
A nationwide curfew from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. daily will be in effect from Monday. Prime Minister Vorenge Bainimarama revealed in Parliament that the curfew will be in force as part of the preventative measures over COVID-19. Bainimarama told Parliament the step is being taken because Fijians are not taking seriously the government's advisory on restricted movement. Bainimarama says there is far too much physical socializing and unnecessary travel between 10 p.m. and 5 a.m.
We are not afraid to ramp up these containment measures if we feel the Fijian public isn't taking this crisis seriously. When it comes to the type of activities and behaviors that we've discouraged to stop the spread of coronavirus, like non-essential travel, close contact, and large gatherings, too many Fijians seem to think that when the sun goes down, the rule stops. That's why today, Honorable Speaker, I'm also announcing a new nationwide curfew from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. every night, everywhere in Fiji.
The curfew will come into effect on Monday night. The Fijian government last night announced a $1 billion COVID-19 response budget. Economy Minister Aya Said Qayyum says people affected by this crisis can take comfort knowing the government's record-breaking decades of progress has been defined every year by their commitment to the most vulnerable Fijians. Said Qayyum also announced a 300% tax reduction to be afforded to employers for wages and salaries paid to employees in self-quarantine with approval of the Ministry of Health.
If the family care leave is available, this deduction will kick in once those days expire. For those who are not compensated by the employer during self-quarantine, government will provide $100 in relief.
National Federation Party leader Professor Biman Prasad has labelled the COVID-19 response budget a disappointing and dishonest budget. Prasad claimed Fiji First is the only government in the country's history who have run to the Fiji National Provident Fund. Attorney General Aya Said Qayyum then stood up saying that Professor Prasad is misleading Parliament.
This is not government money. This is the people's own money. The unions and some political parties have already told the government not to use the workers' own money. We are writing off their retirement savings by doing so. But we are resigned to this happening, Mr. Speaker, because people need cash in their hands as the incomes dry up and the government has no money. So really we have no option. We really have no option. But the government has learned nothing from the past.
If he understood how superannuation works, there is what you call a reserve fund for pension, and then the other amounts of money can actually be taken out for home mortgages and other withdrawals, for example, redundancies, and he knows that. You should not be misleading Parliament, Mr. Speaker, sir. And what we've also said, with those people who do not have the money, we'll be actually topping it up.
No new cases of COVID-19 have been recorded in the last 24 hours. Health Minister Dr. FIJI Mbete has confirmed via a Twitter update that 46 tests yesterday were all negative. Fiji's confirmed cases of COVID-19 remains at 5. The Ministry of Health has so far used up to $3 million to respond to the deadly COVID-19 virus. Minister Dr. FIJI Mbete says this is not enough, as a lot needs to be done to ensure the state's preparedness. Dr. Mbete says the response budget looks at the government's approach in making sure every Fijian is protected. The Economy Minister yesterday announced a $40 million budget for the ministry. This is on top of the $347.5 million that is in play for the current financial year.
Not only in terms of health, but in terms of their financial security, their social security, and so forth. But from a health perspective, we are happy that within the next 3 to 4 months, we've got 40 million.
All employees will make only 5% Fiji National Provident Fund contributions from 1st April until the 31st of December. Minister for Economy Aya Said Kiyum says this will put $80 million in the pockets of all employees for the next 9 months. Employer FNPF contributions also reduced from 10% to 5%. This will enable employers to keep $130 million in their accounts to sustain their businesses and cash flow, as well as minimize job losses and working hour reductions.
Pandemic of our lifetimes. It's highly contagious. Just as government is helping employers by reducing their FNPF commitments, we expect employers to work closely with FNPF to assist with the withdrawal process for any of the employees who qualify.
The Water Authority of Fiji will suspend all water disconnections until 31st July 2020, foregoing $28.4 million in revenue. Attorney General and Minister for Economy Aya Said Kiyum announced this in Parliament as part of the response to COVID-19. He says the authority has also agreed to cut water to any area affected by water cuts until July, regardless of expected repair time, at a total cost of $4.25 million. Meanwhile, Energy Fiji Limited will equal the government's existing subsidy of 50% on the first 100 units of electricity for all its subsidized customers from households earning less than $30,000 annually. The minister says this will continue to December 31st, 2020.
100% of the electricity costs up to the first 100 units will be covered by EFL and government. The entire cost, leaving subsidized customers responsible for just a 9% VAT.
Coming up, sports organizations to be financially challenged soon, and FASANOC ready to assist athletes. Stay with us.
Bula FM, number 2 and seri.
Bula FM, number 2 and seri.
Sporting fraternities in Fiji can expect a reduction in financial assistance with the cancellation of all sporting events due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The Fiji National Sports Commission has reverted about $1.6 million to the Ministry of Economy. Commission Chair Peter MAZEY says the main challenge is figuring out funding for the Olympic Games now that it has been shifted.
Already had all our meetings with all the national sporting bodies. We're prepared and ready to go and have our meetings with the Ministry of Economy when they call for those budget meetings. But yes, there will be lots of cuts, but we also have this added situation of the Olympics now a year later. So we've actually got to look at, are we going to have funding available for Team Fiji?
MAZEY says participation funding for Olympic athletes is still available, while training money will last until July. FASANOC is ready to step in and assist athletes with their preparations towards the Olympic Games next year. Chief Executive LORRAINE says they will play their part in getting athletes fully prepared. Ma says they will be in contact with federations including athletics, archery, table tennis and karate to assist wherever possible.
If there's anything or any way that we can help the athletes who now don't have access to their training venues, to help them with their training, if there's any other things that they can be provided with to help with their training.
Fijian Rugby League players in the NRL are expected to find out shortly how much the coronavirus crisis will affect their pay packets.
Their players will be taken care of. They continue to liaise with the NRL in terms of their welfare, their hygiene, and then also their salaries. And I think we pretty much have a good system in place in terms of how NRL players being taken care of while they are playing in NRL clubs.
Tivita Kurindrani and the Brumbies are adjusting to training in relative isolation. A moist easterly wind flow prevails over the group. There will be cloudy periods with brief showers in many areas. Forecast for tomorrow, expect more showers. That's your FBC News now. You can join us again at 7 p.m. for our major bulletin. And for these stories and others, you can also tune in daily to our sister radio station, Gold FM. Good afternoon.
Bula FM, number 2 NSR.
Bula FM, number 2 NSR.